This could be the most dangerous sport in the world, but skiing acrobat Frank Baer doesn't let that scare him. This afternoon on PM Magazine, hold your breath as he attempts a world record.
Then Sid Caesar was one of TV's kings of comedy, but drinking and drugs almost killed him.
I looked at myself in the mirror after the first act and I said, "You're an idiot. You want to live, you want to die."
Marilyn Beck learns how TV's funny man came out laughing.
Then we'll visit the Kitchen Window Cooking School, where we learn to make a special French dessert.
Good afternoon and welcome to PM Magazine. I'm Steve Doyle.
And I'm Pat Brown. And this afternoon, Steve and I have come up to the 8th floor auditorium of Dayton's in downtown Minneapolis, where their holiday exhibit entitled The Peaceable Kingdom is now on display.
More on that just a bit later. But first, Sid Caesar was the king of TV comedy back in the 1950s. A little bit before you were born.
A little bit.
But he had popular TV shows like the Show of Shows and the Sid Caesar Hour. Well, along with that personal triumph came tragedy, or defeat at least, an addiction to pills and alcohol for 20 years.
Sid talked about his addiction and his recovery 6 years ago in an intimate interview with our Marilyn Beck. He also shared some of the lighter sides of what life was like in the days of live TV.
Mr. Chairman, regarding transportation in this proposed new setup, we will have 93,000 miles of railroad rolling stock, 87 truck lines, and 48 air transports.
Direction!
Yes, sir.
I do believe you ordered the chopped liver.
In the 50s, Sid Caesar was one of the hottest names in show business. For 8 years, he reigned as the king of comedy with Your Show of Shows and Caesar's Hour. He was hailed as a pioneer in television and a legend on the nightclub circuit. But for most of his performing years, he was the classic clown, laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. When the pressures became too great, Sid turned to pills and alcohol. The pressure of bettering yourself each week must have been insane.
Of course it was, but there were other people who had the same pressure as I did. There was Imogene, there was Carl, there was Howie,
Reiner.
There was Neil Simon. These guys had a right, you know, and I sat in that room. I was a taskmaster. Why didn't they drink?
Because it wasn't their face on the line. You were the one in front of that camera.
But you see, you can make, that's what I used to tell myself. Well, look at what I'm going through. Look at the pressure I'm under. Look at that. It's other people who have the same pressure. No, I was weak. I did it to me. I didn't believe myself. I didn't believe I had this power. I said, this is a certain power giving it to me, and that can be taken away at any time. So I had no security.
Despite his increasing dependence on alcohol, Sid's TV performance was surprisingly unaffected. He continued to do his weekly hour-and-a-half show live for 8 years.
Monty, I used to dream of a knight in shining armor who would get... and an enchanted castle. I don't dream that anymore.
Caesar's Hour ended in 1958, and then the nightmare began. Sid's drinking was having such an effect on his behavior that he alternated between periods of despair and rage. Also, his relationship with his wife Florence and their 3 children was put under a tremendous strain. But it wasn't until 1978, after 20 years of alcoholism and unsuccessful therapy, that Sid faced his moment of truth.
I was up in Canada, and I was doing a play that I'd done 1,000 times, The Last of the Red Hot Lovers, written by Neil Simon, one of my writers. And I couldn't remember a line. I couldn't remember my name. I didn't even know where I was. And I looked at myself in the mirror after the first act, and I said, "You're an idiot. You want to live, you want to die. It's as simple as that." And I opted for life, and I knew what it was going to entail. It's going to be a lot of shaking, a lot of holding on, and I had to change my entire lifestyle.
Today at 61, Sid has bounced back, perhaps in better shape than ever. He has an exercise program available on videotape. His TV shows are being syndicated. He's been honored by the AMC Cancer Research Center. and was recently inducted into the TV Hall of Fame. All deserved honors for a man celebrating his 40th year in show business.
All these are tremendous honors. And I appreciate them now, because before I would never have known it. Even all the Emmys I've won, all the awards that I've won, I was there, but I wasn't there. And I never really appreciated it. I mean, really look at it and say, hey, you did this. Only you did it, Sid. You did it. I mean, you had a lot of help. I mean, nobody does anything by themselves, really.
Yeah. But
real deep down joy is appreciation, because when you almost lose something, and then you get a chance to get it back. Oh.
Well, Sid is back in full comic force right now. He's currently working on a musical review which should open sometime next year on Broadway. It's called The History of Sex. And if you're wondering how Sid stays in such great shape, he does 300 sit-ups and 100 push-ups every day.
Next, learn to make the perfect holiday dessert.
It's Goodman Jewelers' wonderland of Christmas values for memorable gifts at special sale prices. The fine art of creating excellence is presented in a very special showing of original designs, superbly styled and crafted. Gleaming gold set with sparkling diamonds and prized gemstones. Each is an exciting work of art created to express your love this Christmas and all year round. And so specially priced. A Christmas tradition. Beautiful gifts of love and friendship.
When it came to me, when I give my love, I give all of it. I love only one man. I wear only one fragrance. Emerald. It's the essence of my love. Timeless, intense, unforgettable. When I fall in love, it's forever. I love only one man. I wear only one fragrance. Emerald.
Clairol heated rollers are bodybuilders with an energy-filled core that holds heat that doesn't give your hair a workout. They just go on building and building and building body and style. Clairol heated rollers, the easy way to build great body.
Hello, everyone. Don Shelby with an update of the local news. Associate Supreme Court Justice John Todd will take the stand in his own defense today to try and explain that his taking a book with him to an exam was just an innocent mistake. A three-judge panel is deciding whether to punish the high court judge for cheating. 5 Augsburg College students appear in district court for arraignment on charges of rape, and we'll hear more about the alleged offense on our news. At the same time, the defense is continuing to present its case in the Isle, Minnesota Daycare Center's sexual abuse trial. Mike Walsher reporting on that case. These stories and more, plus weather and sports later.
With Christmas right around the corner, it's time to whip up something special for those holiday meals. Come with us now to the Kitchen Window Cooking School in Minneapolis, where recently I joined a class to make the traditional French Christmas dessert called Bûche de Noël.
What better time of year than the holidays to seek out a place like the Kitchen Window in Calhoun Square? With Christmas less than a week away, Santa would have a field day in this complete gourmet shop. Whether your taste runs from copper or cutlery to 18 varieties of coffee beans or Christmas tree ice cubes, it's as if the elves themselves had stocked the shelves. But the Kitchen Window is more than a cooking store. It's a cooking school, too. A great place to create an edible memory, like this chocolate log. Cooking School Director Janice Cole.
The Bûche de Noël is a French traditional Christmas dessert. And the tradition behind it stems from a centuries-old custom whereby it was the custom in French families to always leave a log burning on the fireplace throughout Christmas Eve, the entire night.
I've always liked making desserts, and this one sounded like a winner. First, we'd have to make the sponge cake, beginning with 6 egg yolks.
So the first step is to beat those egg yolks so that they incorporate a lot of air.
While the yolks were being mixed a total of 8 minutes with sugar and orange rind, I tried my hand, or shall I say arm, at beating the egg whites.
You want to take over for me? Okay, here. My arm's tired. Okay. Oh, a pro. Look at this. Oh.
Janice constantly offers tips during lessons. Here, she showed us the yolk mixture was ready when we could write your name in it. To that, we added half the beaten egg whites.
Right over.
And and half a pre-sifted amount of flour.
I'll show you the folding technique, which is very important because you don't want to lose the air that you've incorporated into both the yolks and the whites. So in the middle of your mixture with your spatula, draw it towards you, up and over. Turn your bowl a quarter of a turn, go up and over. Continually up and over in that manner.
After folding in the remaining whites and yolks, it was time to gently coax the spongy mixture over a prepared jelly roll pan. Remember, preserve those precious air bubbles. Then we popped it into a preheated 375-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes.
While the cakes are baking, we'll go ahead and start with the chocolate buttercream. I've melted 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate over here.
Ooh, does that look, how does the French say it, magnifique? While the chocolate cooled, we added 3 egg yolks, one at a time, to a butter and coffee mixture.
This is like a surgery team.
Right.
And finally, the chocolate was poured in.
Are we going to need this spoon again?
No.
Oh.
Go right ahead.
Feeling like I just deflated a million precious air bubbles, I was a bit hesitant to reveal our sponge cake. Voila! Ah, not bad. Things were really getting fun now. Next step, rolling the cake into a towel and allowing to cool. Our Christmas log was taking shape. After unrolling our cake and brushing with rum syrup, the chocolate buttercream once again stole the show.
Plop it on. A little bit more.
More.
Okay.
Again, teamwork prevailed as we spread the chocolate and rolled up our bûche de Noël. Sawing off the ends would create stumps to be attached to the main log, coated with chocolate bark, of course.
There you go. That looks good.
Now, the fun part of Christmas baking, decorating with almond paste holly leaves, snowmen, and a bit of a powdered sugar snowfall, too. But this is the real treat of Christmas cooking, the tasting.
That is really good. And we made it ourselves. Well, if you'd like a copy to try your hand at making the Christmas log or bûche de Noël, just call our PM hotline and we'll tell you how to get a copy.